All right, what's going on, y'all? Got a really interesting thing to talk about today. And the topic of this talk is finding your purpose or your passion, finding direction in your life, okay? And this inevitably comes up all the time as I'm working with people. I usually have 2 to 3 clients a day. And of course, the majority of them were working on nutrition or sleep or meditation. But a lot of it ends up being what might be considered life coaching. And I hate using that term because it's really like joint coaching, because I'm working on it myself all day, every day too. It's just that I've been working on it a long time and I'm committed to the process every single day. And because I tinker with it every day, I think I'm a really, really good person to help guide someone through their own process, understanding that my process is always evolving too. So, but inevitably, people want to figure out, like, what's my passion? What's my purpose? How do I find out what I'm supposed to do? And when they don't know what that is, there's a lot of anxiety and frustration because they just want to know what it is, right? And so again, I'm just talking openly here. This is not like I have a few bullet points here, but this is just me just trying to put out some useful thoughts, and it's from the heart and I care. The first thing I realize is I don't think that we have a purpose that we're supposed to find. I don't think that we have this one thing that we're supposed to find. Because that implies that if I don't find that thing, I just screwed my whole life up. Right? I have this one purpose I'm supposed to find. What if I don't find it? And then that also implies that my happiness is dependent upon finding this thing. And until I find it, I'm not going to be happy. And that's what we see happen with a lot of people. I think purpose is showing up every single day, doing the best you can with what's in front of you. And ideally, that's from a healthy context, right? You're showing up, your healthful presence is your purpose. You're showing up every day doing the best that you can with what you got, and you're healthy doing it. I think a really good book, if you haven't read it before, is The Go-Giver. Because if you show up and you do your best at every single thing that you do, you're going to progress. Like opportunities are going to open up, But I think we need to get out of this mindset that there's this one thing that we're supposed to find, because what if we don't find it? That's very disappointing, right? And you're always looking for this thing that's going to make you happy. And the reality is that I don't think anything's going to make you happy except for finding health and showing up and being present and doing the best you can with what you have in front of you at any given moment, okay? Now that segues into what I would consider like a step process for finding your purpose, your passion, which can be a million different things, by the way. The first step is finding health. When you find health, you find yourself, and we see it happen all the time with people that we work with. Okay, if someone asks me about like what supplements to take, and I tell this person what supplements I recommend, in the context of eating crap food, I don't know that those supplements are going to do a whole lot. They're definitely not going to undo damage, And it's kind of the same thing with this whole trying to find our purpose and passion and where we're trying to go with life. In the context of being toxic and tired and unhappy with your body composition and how you fit in your clothes. And I don't think people understand the impact toxic foods and just not doing the right things as far as that goes have on their emotions and their emotional stability and their just general happiness and energy levels and things. So it's much easier to do this work in the context of eating real food, sleeping well, getting sun most days, and working out and all the stuff that we try to get people to do. It just seems like when people find health, all of a sudden, like, life opens up and they show up differently. So I'd say that that's got to be the first step. Find health, find yourself, and then it's easier to do some of these or focus on these deeper things and ask these deeper questions, right? The second thing is, as you're trying to figure out your own personal health, you want to have a vision for yourself. And this can take the form of many different things. Like over the years, I've been through so many freaking, I used to do insurance sales years ago. And so I've done my share, probably hundreds of freaking goal setting workshops and seeing what you want and NLP. And it takes so many different forms. A really good book that I've read recently many times is Atomic Habits, and I love some of the principles in there. So I'm not sure how I feel about goals and stuff, but what I do know, what's important is you do have to constantly be seeing what it is that you think you want, all right? You have to be focused on what it is that you think you want, because your non-conscious, unconscious, higher self, whatever you want to call that, as you continue to see that and program yourself with that on a daily basis, your unconscious, non-conscious higher self looks for things in your environment to support what it is that you constantly see. And that's how we start to see all kinds of magic happen. Contrasted with, if all I do is focus on what's wrong and what I don't like and how I can't find what I'm supposed to do and all that kind of stuff, that's restricted, that's tight, that's tense, and that's looking for evidence to support what you don't want, okay? So having a vision about where you think you want to go based on what you know right now, you can compartmentalize that to different areas of your life, you know, so what do you want with health? What do you want with performance or fitness? What do you want with finances? What do you want with a relationship? And you can just take that to different levels, you know. That's very personal and bio-individual. So having a vision and writing that out and getting as clear as you can on what it is you think that you want right now, so that you can program yourself to look for that kind of stuff. You don't have to figure out how to get there, because the how unfolds over time the more that you're seeing this. What you do have to know is where you think you want to go, so that you give your unconscious, non-conscious higher self a blueprint, and you start moving in that direction, right? The action steps and the paths start to unfold as time goes on. Now, the third thing is we want to detach from the outcome. Okay, so what this means is I don't want to be so dead set on this one thing that if for some reason I don't hit it, I freaking fall apart, right? Like, I have my goals set for this thing, but I want to be detached from the outcome, which will give me some flexibility. So as I'm moving forward towards this thing, and yes, I'm very driven towards it and I see it clear every day, I also want to be flexible and open to opportunities, because between here and there, anything and everything can happen. And that is absolutely the truth, as long as you're looking for those kinds of things. All right. This also means that we need to be uncomfortable with uncertainty. All right. So we're looking for certainty because certainty is the known. Certainty is the past. It just feels better knowing something, but we need to flip that perception and understand that uncertainty is where all the magic happens. It's where all the adventure happens. Between here and there, anything can happen. You know, sometimes I get caught up in, like, I have a talk coming up and I get really tight and anxious about it, and I want to do well, of course. But then I also tell myself, you know what, this is an adventure. I don't know what's going to happen there. I have what I think I want to happen, end result, but between here and there, like, it's an adventure. It's a movie. It's going to be great. It's going to be fun and exciting. So you don't want to know what's going to happen in the future, because if you know, I mean, what's the fun in that, right? You don't want to know. You want to know where it is you think you want to go, and you want to be open and flexible and comfortable with uncertainty, because that's where all the magic happens. All right. There's one other thing that I was thinking along those lines. Dang it. Can't remember what the heck it is. All right. So, and then we also want to always fall back to gratitude, and understand that we want to be grateful for our health and where we are in life, because there's a lot of people that don't have the opportunities that we have. There's a lot of people that are born into really shitty situations, and there's a lot of people that just have things happen that are out of their control, that seem out of their control, it seems like to me. Like, some people they just have a hard time. And so being grateful for where we are is extremely important, because I realize now that knowing what I know about health, knowing what I know about how to eat real food and how to work out and how to sleep and all these different things, I could be happy doing anything. I could be happy being a janitor, not that there's anything wrong with that. I could be happy washing dishes. I could be happy being a lawn guy, because if I can just show up every day and eat real food and sleep and have a CrossFit membership, I mean, I can do anything and be happy. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to prove that, because once this thing that we're doing, the SHT, gets up to where it's this self-sustainable, financially viable, thing that's empowering a lot of people, and we have a really good support system, I'm going to freaking hand the reins off to somebody for a year, and I'm going to travel, Europe or somewhere, and just freaking pick up little odds and ends part-time jobs, just to facilitate a living place and just to be able to eat real food and work out and stuff. So again, if you find health, you find yourself, and you can be happy doing anything. And as you're doing those things, you're showing up to be your best version of yourself, and then opportunities really start to open up, all right? Another thing that I think is beneficial is to let go of this mystic self that we think we have to do all these different things, and try to discern the difference between these conditioned biases and expectations that have been put on us that aren't really ours versus what you think that you want, right? So for most of my life, you know, I've read and understood and been told that I can have and do anything that I want. Travel the world, make $1 billion, have a freaking island or a house on an island, you know, and all this stuff, right? And I've recently come to this understanding that, you know what? Maybe I don't end up traveling the world. And I'm fine with that because I'm healthy and happy. And maybe I do. Maybe that's important to me and I put it in my envisioning, but this is again where detachment comes from. Like if I have it set in my mind that for me to be happy, for me to live a great life, I have to have traveled the world. I have to have a family with a wife and 3 kids and a dog, and feels very restrictive, right? So we want to let go of this mystic self, of this version of ourselves that we have to achieve all these different things. I'm not saying don't have goals and visions of things that you want to do, but you want to be cool, you want to be easy, you want to be flexible, and you want to enjoy this, all right? I think that's a good start with all this stuff. So let's just boil it back down to those points again one more time. You know, on this whole idea about passion and purpose and finding what you're supposed to do, I don't think there is one thing that we're all supposed to do. I think what we're supposed to do is show up and be as healthy and happy and in the moment as we can, being the best versions of ourselves. And that's how we're going to be happy, and that's how we're going to see opportunities that are presented to us, right? So the first step is find health and find yourself. Make that your priority, and then all kinds of different things are going to open up for you, all right? Number 2, have a vision. Have a very clear vision of where you think you want to go, all right? But number 3, detach from that outcome so that you have some flexibility, right? There's wisdom in uncertainty. There's wisdom in not knowing what's supposed to happen. You want to have a vision of where you think you want to go, but between here and there, you want to be flexible so that as things present themselves, you can shift. As you get more information, you can shift and change, right? So if I had my mindset on this career and then I get into it and I'm like, oh God, this isn't what I thought it was. I don't want to just stay with it because that was what my vision was. I want to have some flexibility, right? So detaching from the outcome, uncertainty is actually a really good thing. There's wisdom in uncertainty. And then we want to be flexible and open to opportunities as they present themselves, and be okay with that. Be okay with changing our mind and be okay with changing things. Always having a background gratitude for what we know to do to be healthy. Because with health, we can do anything. With health, we can be happy doing anything. With health, if I'm healthy and I have good energy levels and mental clarity and vibrancy, I can do anything and be happy. And at the same time, as I'm doing those things, because I'm going to show up so awesome, I can't help but progress and people can't help but notice me, right? And then finally, letting go of the mystic self. Let go of this idea that you have to be and do everything to be a success, all right? Showing up to life and being your most awesome, amazing, healthy version of yourself and being present is the best thing that you can do. Your healthful presence is the best thing that you can possibly share. And if you make some of those goals or don't, I don't think that matters as much as showing up and being your best version of yourself, all right? All right, give me some feedback. This is from the heart. And I'm always evolving and adjusting too, okay? Thank you so much. All right, and then one last thing I want to add to that I just thought of, and that is expect great things, all right? Same thing with the envisioning and programming your unconscious, non-conscious mind to look for evidence in your environment to support what it is you see on a regular basis. Within the context of detaching from your outcome, being flexible, within the context of being comfortable with uncertainty, understanding that's where all the adventure and the magic happens, expect great things. Because in that expectation, with that preparedness, great things are going to happen. And you're going to see them and notice them versus being constricted and tunnel visioned and not being open to those things. So expect greatness, okay? Again, give me some feedback. It's all from the heart, y'all. Later.